So this is a little kit that comes from what is called the Young Scientists Club. It's Science Kit number 7 on minerals. And basically what you have here is a guide to help identify minerals. So what we have is we have some selection of minerals that comes in the kit. And you have a magnifying glass, a magnet with both north and south, a coin here, a nail. We have a piece of glass. We have basically, you can get the back of a piece of tile here. This is for streak test, for testing the streak of the mineral. Also, there is a chemical analysis that can be done, very simple, a reaction type test, which we will use some white vinegar to check. So let's get right into it. First of all, you would look for the streak test. Now, you will want to probably put each one of these on a piece of paper in this kit. If you want to practice this kit, you would just take them out of the packages and ignore the packaging because that tells you what's in it and it tells you what its properties are. So ignore the packages, put them and label them A, B, C, D, E in any order, okay? On each piece of paper, you put the test. So first test is a streak test. In this test, it just says dark or light. Now, of course, some tests will be a color, could be gold or green or other things. But in this case, we're just going to go light or dark. Okay, so let's start. First of all, this would be A. We do this and we see nothing. Same thing, so it's light. It's very light. Same thing with this one. We go like that. It's light. This one, it's light. We don't see anything, okay? This one, okay, this one's dark. You can see that there's a dark streak. So on A, B, C, D, we'd put dark, okay? This one, also dark. So those are both dark. Those are identifying factors that will help us identify that. You can see the one is kind of a red and the other is a grayish black. So if you were to go beyond this basic educational grade school type testing techniques, you would want to take into consideration these colors. But for this example, we're just going light and dark, but we'll do some others in a moment. Then you want to do the hardness. The first thing on the hardness in this kit is your actual fingernail. What you're looking for is when you are checking the hardness of, say, this material, and we check it with a thumbnail or the coin or the nail or whatever it is we check it with, we want to know, is our thumbnail going off onto it? Is our nail scratching off onto it? Or is the nail scratching into the material? Is the fingernail scratching into the material? So let's start with that. Okay, so this one I can look in there and I can see I am actually able to scratch a groove in this with my thumbnail. So it's very soft. Your thumb is about 2.5 to 3 on the hardness scale. This one, no, not so much. This one, no. This one, nope. This one, no. Okay, so next hardness is the coin, which they say is about 4. I like to use a copper penny, and we'll talk about that later. So we know this one's already soft. We don't need to scratch that. That's going to scratch for sure. Let's check this one. Okay, it looks like you can actually see the coin is rubbing off onto this a little bit. Okay. That's what it looks like. Almost right in the middle. This is supposed to be about a 4. This is real close. It's scratching it. I don't really see much silver. So it's right about the same as this coin right here. Okay, so this one. All right, that coin definitely came off on that. You can see that silver mark. So that came off pretty easy. Yeah, it looks like the coin's coming off on that. I see a silver streak right there. And then this one here. Yeah, that's pretty close on that one. This one may be about the same too. Oop, I broke it. Let's see. Okay, so the nail's definitely scratching this, so this is under 6. This one, the nail is scratching this, so this is definitely under 6. And this one, that one's under 6 too, because that's scratching. That's not getting the nail. And this one, okay, the nail is scratching off onto this one. So this one's definitely the hardest one. Okay, well, so let's find out if they scratch the glass. Okay, so not really too much, but let's see about this one. Okay, that one definitely scratches the glass. You can see that cut went right through. So this one's harder. So these two are right around 4. This one's a little harder. Now, other thing we can do with the darker minerals is we can check to see if any of these are magnetic in any way, shape, or form. Uh-oh. Oh, that one is. Nope, only that one. So we have one that's magnetic. So there's your different clues to what we have. Next is the reaction. We put these in the water here and soak them and see if we get any fizzing. That one's nothing. This one may fizz a little bit because it's porous, just with bubbles, but no reaction there. Let's get this one in here. Let's see what's happening here. See if I can zoom in a little bit here. So nothing there. So let's put this one in there and see what happens on this one. I'm kind of hurrying through the other ones because I know that I already know what they're going to do. But you want to soak these for at least a minute or two. One, because this one will bubble just from the holes that are in it for a while, so it gives you kind of a false flag. This one is going to react. It just takes a little bit of time before it starts. So, okay, we're starting to get a reaction. Can you see those little tiny bubbles coming up in there? Yeah, you can see them now. Look on the sides and you'll see little bubbles coming. That's an acid reaction to the white vinegar. It's actually eating that up a little bit. Okay, we'll get into the next phase of rock testing. So basically, you've written down everything, what's reactive, what's magnetic, what's got dark streaks, what's got light streaks, what has hardness for the nail, this and that, so it identifies the hardness. So what we've identified through all this is this reactive one had a light streak. Hardness was somewhere between 2 and 4. The color streak was light, no magnetic, and we had the bubbles from our acid or our white vinegar. This one looks a lot like it. So that identifies as calcite. And also the cube structure would help give that away too, because calcite can form in cubes. All right, but it could be many different colors. This one is gypsum, and its hardness very soft too. The color streak was clear, kind of white, and no magnetic and no bubbles. Okay, this one super hard, harder than anything else. We had the no streak. It was a light streak. It was very hard. No bubbles in the acid, and hardness over 7. Quartz. That identifies as quartz. This one, not magnetic, dark streak, no bubbles, hardness about 5 to 6. Remember, it was pretty close to the coin. We had a hard time identifying this one and another one. This identifies as hematite. It's a reddish color. Okay, reddish streak helps indicate that. This one which was magnetic, hardness of about 5 or 6, a dark black streak, magnetic, no bubbles, would be magnetite. So we're able to identify these minerals and learn some of the basic tests. Now, what I want to do is push over into a more advanced testing techniques and talk about a couple of books. All right, this one, these are all old books, but you can see $1.50. You can't even buy a book for $1.50. This is very common, the Pocket Golden Guide for Rocks and Minerals. This is okay for some stuff. They do talk about tests in here on the most basic level, and also some of the charcoal tests, which are a little bit more advanced. Talk about some of these different types of testing. Here you can see the fingernail, the penny, the knife, and the glass. These are different hardnesses, and they give you other things that you can use for testing. As you go through and look at the actual mineral descriptions, it's really good. This section on testing is really good as far as testing goes. And then they will tell you certain attributes to certain minerals and stuff, like the hardness. You can see the hardness table right here, 1 through 10, the Mohs scale. And then you can see specific gravity, and you can see other things that are very good at identifying. But then you get over into the actual rocks and minerals, and they don't always tell you everything that is here. Here you will get the specific gravity, the hardness, and the streak, which is helpful, but it doesn't always identify what you want. This, if you can find it, it's been out of print, as far as I know, for a long time. The Field Guide to Rocks and Minerals. This one is much better, I think, because when it starts going in and describing the rocks and minerals, you start going into the different types, you will see that there's some tests. Like, for example, here we have a discrepancy, frosted, the coating, yellow when hot, turning white, then cold. Fluorescent, bright orange, long wave, ultraviolet, white, and short wave, ultraviolet, violet. Ultraviolet. They give you a lot more to it. So this, some of the tests that you see, the more detailed tests with the torch in a reduction flame, or in another type of a flame, or using reagents, things like that. In the beginning, this is much more scientific. If you want to go in really deep and be able to test these minerals, you can do that. You can see here a little lab torch and a blowtorch technique for getting different types of flame. You have a reducing flame, an oxidizing flame, and all sorts of different tests. You can buy some of these tests if you look them up. You want to get into that. Now, if you want to just kind of go middle of the road, you're not ready to set up lab, this is a great book. I don't know if it's in print anymore, but this book here is the one I use for identifying rocks and minerals. And even though it's just for California, I haven't found any for any other states. It works really good. Here they go into the physical hardness again. They go into the streak test, the color, the luster, the cleavage, fracture, and the hardness. They recommend a penny, a copper penny. By the way, if you want a copper penny, be sure to get one. I think before 1980 is a real true blue copper penny. That's about 3 on the hardness scale. And then a knife blade is typically about a 6 or a 7. And then a piece of quartz is 7, so you can actually use a piece of quartz as a tester for stuff. Okay, so the way they do it here is they take you through a process to identify. First of all, you try to identify whether it's a metallic or a submetallic. Metallic minerals scratched with fingernail. It talks about that, and then you go into all these different categories. If it isn't that, then you go into the next one, minerals with non-metallic luster. It goes through testing techniques for that. and so on and so forth. And this will help you identify a lot of rocks and minerals that are in California and also all over the country. So that is the one that I use. So for example, let's say I find this rock right here, and I want to find out how hard it is. I usually start right off with a knife blade. Okay, so right there, I'm seeing that that is quite a bit softer. And then there's this kind of crystal formation up on the top here. Way softer, right? So next I want to try penny. I like pennies because you can see the copper color pretty good. Okay, so it looks like this is quite soft. The penny is not leaving a mark. You see that? If I do this on the quartz, you're going to see, if I can get this to, let's see if we can pull it up in here. You're going to see this penny on there. See that? Right there in that corner right there, that brown, that's the penny. See it? Same thing with a nail. No? You're going to see a little bit of that nail. So when you're rock hounding, basically you need to find out, is it quartz, chalcedony, obsidian? Is it really hard, or is it a calcite? Because you're mostly, when you're collecting in the United States, it's either going to be a calcium, carbonic, calcite, marbles, soft onyxes, thulites, things like that, or it's going to be an agate, a jasper, or it's going to be something like that, right? Okay, so you can see this is very, very hard. This one, you can see it breaks conchoidal like that, little fractures like that. This is obsidian. It's black. It's you don't get a streak from it. So hard. It breaks like glass, very hard. That's obsidian, very smooth. Okay, reflective. This one we still are identifying, right? So we see these crystals. I've identified this one before on the show. This is actually a relative of asbestos. And I can't remember what it's called, but it crumbles up into pieces. There's little crystals there. So as you keep identifying through the book, you can identify what it is based on the hardness, the crystal, and you can check for reaction. So here's another one. All right, so let's say you find, green rocks. What kind of green rock is it? So here's a kind of green rock, here's kind of a green rock, and here's a green rock. Are they all the same, or are they different? So first thing you do is scratch. This one's very soft. This one, that's super hard right there. Yeah, that's looking like part of it's hard and part of it's soft. So there may be some silicization in here. Part of it's got silica and part of it is softer. Okay. Here's one here. Looks kind of green. That's super hard. You can see that right there. So I would say, okay, this is probably some sort of a jasper, right? And if I polish it up, get it wet, I'm going to see, oh, okay, yeah. It's got a nice kind of a green imperial, jasper, swirly jasper of some type, right? This one, a little bit softer in parts, but part of it's harder. So, it's a copper color, copper mineral. Wow, yeah, that part's pretty hard, but there is some soft parts in here too. I get some copper showing there. So this is probably a nice chrysocolla. Okay, if it had, it could have some copper minerals in it. There's different tests we can do. As you go through the book and you find out, because of this crystal pattern, the way it breaks, you see this streak? It's actually not a green, just clear. This one, green. That's your copper. See this one? Nothing. It's because it's hard. It's jasper. So this one is not as hard, and it's not giving a green streak. So as you look through and you identify the crystal type, the way it breaks in strands. You can see these crystal formations in here. You find out this is a tenellite. This is actually also is another form of asbestos. Okay. So you find red rock or just a hard rock like that. You chip it open with your hammer. You look at it and you're like, huh. Wow, that's hard, right? So it's probably going to be a jasper. If it has clearish spots on it, then you're looking at a jasper agate possibly. So that is a jasper. It breaks like this. Great for making arrowheads and stuff. This is something you could flint knap. It breaks kind of conchoidal like the obsidian, also used for arrowheads and stuff by native peoples. Here's one. I don't even know what this is. Let's see. Very soft. So it's white. I would say this might be calcite. Maybe we can get a reaction from this. Let's see. We'll leave it in there for a few minutes while we look at something else. Here's another one. I'm not sure. This could be calcite too. Very soft. Very, very soft. Yep, very soft. Okay. I think it's harder than my fingernail. Well, maybe not. That's a little bit softer than my fingernail. So you can see this one kind of breaks in plates. And you can use that breakage and test it to see if it reacts. Yeah, I'm getting a little bit of reaction from this. Right up in the corner there. You see some bubbles right about there. We'll see if we can zoom in on that. Getting a little bit of reaction started on that. So that confirmed, oh, there's a lot of bubbles right there. See those? Yeah, you can see them if you look real close right in there. They're a little tiny. So that verifies that one is definitely probably a calcite. This one, I don't know, let's drop that one in there and see what happens. Leave it in there for a few minutes. Okay, so let's say we find a couple of bluish, kind of purplish blue rocks here. We're not sure what they are. We found them out in the desert. Yeah, we'll let this one go for a while. It looks like it's starting to react too. We'll let it go for a while. It looks like it's reacting. So here we got a purple one. I'm not even 100% sure what that is. Let's see. Let me back off a little bit. Wow, that's hard. I don't know if it's as hard as this nail. Let me see here. Yeah, it is as hard as this nail. Huh. Yeah, I thought this was going to be... it's pretty hard. This, I believe, is sodalite. But, man, if it is, it's very hard. This was... I found it in a pile of rocks, so I don't know. Even if you harden treating something, it's never quite that hard. This one... oh, wow, this is way harder. Way harder. Let's check it on the glass. Oh, yeah. Scratches the glass. Scratched it right there, plain as day. Right there, plain as day. Yeah, big scratch. Let's see if this one does. Little scratch. I don't know. Not quite like the other stuff. Let's check the streak. Okay, we're not getting a streak. This one, no streak. We can put this up to the light, and it's a purple, and it's definitely falling into the quartz category. It does have somewhat of a crystal form there, and this is looking like some amethyst, actually. Very dark amethyst. This one, I would think it's sodalite. Let's see what the book says here. So... we just go in here and try to do a few things here. See if we can identify this thing. We've got not metallic. Definitely not metallic. So we'll get past all the metallic stuff here. Minerals with non-metallic luster. Yeah, there's a little bit of luster there. Mineral can be scratched by a fingernail. No. Mineral cannot be scratched by a fingernail, but can be scratched by a copper coin. No, I don't think so. This one was good with the copper. Mineral cannot be scratched by a copper coin, but can be scratched by a good knife blade. Man, this thing's harder even than that. So I'm going to say no. Mineral cannot be scratched by quartz hardness 7. Oh, quartz. Let's see if the quartz will scratch it. Oh yeah, it's the quartz is scratching it. So that's for sure. Yeah, the quartz is scratching it. So we're going to say mineral cannot be scratched by a knife blade, but can be scratched by quartz. So we go to 64. And then when we go to 64, so I'm actually just doing this right now with you. I didn't even check this out before we started. 63, 64 says minerals with non-metallic luster that cannot be scratched with a knife, but can be scratched with quartz. Mineral has good cleavage. Mineral with poor cleavage. I'm gonna guess poor cleavage. Okay, color deep blue, bluish, black, or grayish streak. What was the streak? Did we get a blue streak? I don't remember. I don't think we got a streak. No. No, we're not getting any kind of streak on this, I don't think. That's no real streak there. So let's see. Mineral with good cleavage, mineral with poor cleavage. So I'm thinking poor cleavage, 69. And then 69 says some color, some shade of green, color red or brown, color violet, dark blue, or pink. Okay, so there we are. Usually in fibrous, but also small prism, massive granular forms, luster, glassy to hard, dumortierite. So this is not sodalite, it's dumortierite. And I didn't know dumortierite was that hard. So there you go. We identified it with this book. So this is a great book if you're intermediate, you're a rockhound type person. This is a good one if you really want to get down and find out hardcore mineral testing and sampling. It's got the instructions for you. So with that, guys, I want to thank you for tuning in. Until next time, remember, rockhounds don't die, they petrify. And we're out.